Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling News Spark Fan 62. The If you've been watching Raw or SmackDown, you would know they have been talking about this being the Triple H era. So, how did we get here? So in June of 2022, Vince McMahon stepped down. So in July of that same year, Vince McMahon put out a tweet basically saying he's retiring, and that Stephanie McMahon was going to be chairwoman / co-CEO of WWE with, I believe it was Nick Khan. I will say this, during that time, they did a great job of getting WWE out of the Vince era and onto a new, fresh road. Fast forward to March 4th of 2023, Vince WWE got sold to Endeavor, which merged with UFC, which became the TKO group. So you have WWE, UFC, bull riding, and some other stuff mixed in with all of this. So in 2024, right after, so it was essentially right after Christmas of 2023, Vince, it was either 2022 or 2023, Vince essentially came back and held the company hostage to try and sell the company, which is why I mentioned about selling it to TKO. So he wanted to sell it. So in January of 2024, which was essentially almost a year after it became, part of Endeavor, and Vince at the time still had his job as being chairperson of WWE. This was a day before the Royal Rumble. Janelle Grant sued both Vince, John Laurinaitis, and WWE over the sexual stuff, which I'm not going to get into, which put WWE into a spin because this was the day before the Rumble, and one of their biggest sponsors, Slim Jim, pulled out. So essentially, WWE had no choice but to let Vince go during that time. So within 24 hours, Slim Jim was a sponsor of the Rumble because Vince stepped down. And then in April of that same year, I think it was right after WrestleMania, Vince sells his final stock of WWE / TKO for more than $776 million. So during this time, Triple H became in charge of WWE. So it was right after Vince sold the company to Endeavor. Triple H became in charge and was put as head of creative. So, and then at the same time, in that same year, Triple H appointed his former tag partner, Shawn Michaels, as head of creative for NXT. Because at the time, NXT was still was in their Nickelodeon phase, which was 2.0. So in early 2023, they dropped the 2.0, and it's now the black or silver and black show. Now, the thing about it is Triple H has turned WWE all around. So they're the hottest they've ever been since the Attitude Era. They're making money hand over fist. They are re-signing talent to new deals. That's probably a lot more than what Vince was paying him at the time. That part's assuming. And then so some of the old legends that Vince may have pissed off, Triple H has made amends. So they just signed demolition to a Legends contract. They've also done that with Mark Henry and several others. The other thing that they have done as well is they have started going more international than just staying here in the States. So, of course, the big 4 or 5, depending on how you want to look at it, is always either here in the US or in Canada. But a lot of the B pay-per-views, like Backlash, like Roadblock, like stuff like that, has always gone international, started going more international. And the crowds for the international pay-per-views are very electric. They make the show better because they don't get a lot of American-style television over there. And here in the next several weeks, WWE is doing like, I think it's like 2-week tour of Europe for Raw and SmackDown, and having live shows over there, including, on TV. So that is showing what Triple H has done, and also he's giving more creative freedom for these wrestlers to a certain point. Now, there are people who are complaining about, oh, there's no blood, oh, there's no cursing, oh, there's no this, oh, there's no that. So when I did the Netflix debut review, I noted that even though they are on Netflix, they're still keeping it PG. As rumors went around saying it's going to be TV-14. And unfortunately, because they are a publicly traded company and they have to look up to their stockholders, to the sponsorships and all of that, the sponsors that they have, to the most part, are all family oriented. Now, there are some that are, adults. Like a couple of weeks ago, SmackDown was sponsored by Angry Orchard. I don't know if that was just a one-time thing or what, because it wasn't on the mat the next week. The debut of Raw was sponsored by Fortnite and all this other stuff. But they are showing that they can work with what they have. Now, I will do a video coming up about pay-per-views as well as the music for it. So keep looking out for that.